been doing push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to a soggy Thursday edition of the Your Sports Network Power Hour. My name is DJ Yoakley. It's a pleasure to be welcomed on your devices, on your phones, on your computers, whatever it may be. Just appreciate you spending some time with us here on YSN today. Just off the top of the show, we had a cancellation for our interview today, so I will be flying solo, but we do have a ton to talk about. One of the things that I certainly want to talk about, we'll get to it in our On This Day in Sports History, is the retiring of numbers. I always thought it was interesting how they choose numbers to retire at the professional level, and now we're seeing it at the local level and, of course, at college as well. So I want to know from you, what would it take to retire a number? Is it something that can only be done from a standpoint of you have to have championships, you have to have the numbers, the credibility in memoriam, whatever it may be? I want to know what it would take for you if you were in charge of an athletic department to retire a number for any team or any sport that a particular person played in. Secondly, we're going to talk a lot about the trading card boom being back, because it's something that in sports, and yes, this is a sports topic, it goes under the radar a ton. Baseball cards were huge when I was a little kid, and I was kind of on the back end of all the hubbub. Now it's back. 2020, people didn't have anything to do, so they checked out their attics. They found all these cards. They put them on eBay. They put them on, the marketplace. And now the sports card industry is humongous. I have a guy that I want to bring on the show and talk to him about it. I've got a text message out there, so hopefully he can come on in the second half of the show. So we will hopefully talk to that person. But otherwise, you're going to hear me talk about sports cards for the majority of the day. But the other things that we're going to talk about, the big topic today, the one that's going to lead us off after On This Day in Sports History, is going to be, do we need exhibition games anymore? With the NFL kicking off tonight, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game, do we need exhibition games anymore? Are these players at the local high school, college and professional levels, most of them are training around the clock, around the calendar? Do we need exhibition games, or can we just get away with what we call quote unquote scrimmages nowadays? All that is coming up today on the YSN Power Hour. So I hope to get your thoughts on all of this as we try to stay dry on this soggy Thursday here in balmy Northeast Ohio. But first, we get to On This Day in Sports History. Let's roll it. All right, so on this day in sports history, August 4th in 1985, the New York Yankees, and yes, I know I'm wearing a Boston Red Sox hat right now, so there might be a conflict of interest, although I have a certain appreciation for the Yankees as part of baseball lore. Anyway, on this day in 1985, the Yankees retired Baseball Hall of Fame shortstop Phil Rizzuto's number 10. And for all you Happy Madison folks out there, Rarudo, Phil Rarudo. Those aren't Z's. So that got me to thinking. And what we're going to really lead off today with, how do you retire numbers? Because the Yankees have made a business of it. So here are the numbers and the people that have been responsible for those numbers that have been retired over the franchise of the New York Yankees. Just for instance, if you were looking to be a New York Yankee with a single-digit number, go ahead and think again, because every single number has been retired from 1 through 9, with 8 being retired twice. Number 1, Billy Martin retired in 1986. Derek Jeter, to me, one of the best to ever do it at shortstop, retired in 2017. Babe Ruth obviously retired. That was in 1948. Lou Gehrig was retired in 1939. Joe DiMaggio, the number 5, retired in 1952. Joe Torre, the number 6, retired in 2014, which I thought was really interesting. Really interesting, especially watching this new Derek Jeter documentary. Mickey Mantle, number 7, his number was retired in 1969. Yogi Berra and Bill Dickey were both retired on the same day in 1972, July 22nd. So the number 8 off the board twice. Roger Maris is number 9. The home run leader for so long, was retired in 1984. Then you go on. The number 10, Phil Rizzuto. We talked about that one. Thurman Munson's number 15. Number 16, Whitey Ford. Number 20, Jorge Posada. Number 21, Paul O'Neill. Number 23, Don Mattingly. Number 32, Elston Howard. Casey Stengel at 37. 42, Mariano Rivera. 44 is Reggie Jackson. Andy Pettit's 46. Ron Guidry is 49. And Bernie Williams at 51. So here's the interesting part about all of this, right? So everybody 1 through 10, I'm in on. Thurman Munson, I'm in on. Whitey Ford, can appreciate. Jorge Posada, maybe. Paul O'Neill, like, I might be jumping the gun here, but I don't think Paul O'Neill is necessarily worthy of Hall of Fame and retire his number. Like, Paul O'Neill is more famous for Seinfeld, I think, than he is for what he did on the baseball field. Don Mattingly, okay, I guess. Mariano Rivera, yes. Reggie Jackson, yes. Andy Pettit, okay. Bernie Williams, I don't know. It just, a lot of players from that era, I felt like you just threw them all into a hat and said, hey, we're going to retire all their numbers together. Like, just to, to sell tickets on, during a ball game. Jeter, 100%. 100%. Bernie Williams? Paul O'Neill? Huh? I guess. And these are, I guess, lifelong Yankees. But Pettit wasn't a lifelong Yankee. Pettit came back. I'm not sure exactly how Pettit, because I'm pretty sure he was a free agent and walked away. I'll have to look that up from that standpoint. But Andy Pettit, I think he played for Houston. He's from Houston. I'm 99% sure he played for Houston as well. We're going to look it up right meow. Yeah, he played for Houston. So it makes me wonder if he was traded or if he walked away. I think he walked away. I think he was a free agent and went to Houston, which makes it interesting because I'm not so sure. Like, Hall of Fame, Andy Pettit, but shouldn't those go hand in hand? If you're into the Hall of Fame, shouldn't you then get your number retired? Maybe. Is that how it should go? I know in high schools nowadays, it takes a lot to retire a number. It takes a lot from a standpoint of you got to have numbers. You have to have championships. And there's a little bit of politicking, I think, that goes on in being in a Hall of Fame from that standpoint. You know, you've got to have people that recognized your accomplishments, whether it be on the field, on the court, on the whatever it may be. And I think that there's cases to be made, but like when you retire a number, when you take a number out of 99, let's say, because I don't think anybody's playing with triple digits yet. When you take a number out of the rotation and say, we're retiring this number, nobody will ever wear this number ever again. To me, that's one of the most honorable things that you can do into a because that person's worn that number for so long that you identify that person and the number that comes with it. It makes it real interesting because Hall of Fame's one thing, and I'm not downplaying Hall of Fames at all, but there's a lot more Hall of Famers than there are retired numbers. And the retired number thing is very, again, I'm looking for the right word because I can't find it yet. Honorable keeps coming to mind, but it's pristine. It is, to me, it's a clean cut. You are one of the best of all time. No one is, you've made an impact unlike any other. Nobody else is going to wear this number for the rest of our franchise for the future. And the rest of history, you're the last person that's ever going to don that particular digit or digits. I think I would in my opinion, I think I'd rather have my number retired than be in a Hall of Fame. And that might be a little bit egotistical, but it's one of those things where I think I'd rather have a number retired than be in a Hall of Fame. So if they were going to retire my number and say nobody else can wear this particular number in this sport ever again, and they put it up in the rafters, I'd be just tickled pink about that. I don't know where. Should they go hand in hand? Should they go Hall of Fame and retire? No, because I don't think first off, I don't think schools want to have to go and order all these different numbers the way professional sports is. And I think what's interesting is my vantage point from the Steelers side is the Steelers don't retire many numbers. Like you see Joe Green up there, but they take numbers out of circulation. You haven't seen anybody wear the number 12 in Pittsburgh since Terry Bradshaw. You haven't seen anybody wear the number 36 or 43. I don't think you'll ever see anybody wear 7 again in Pittsburgh. So it's one thing to retire the number. It's another to take it out of circulation. And it's another thing entirely to put someone in your Hall of Fame. So I'm trying to figure out the rankings, and I'm hoping someone can help me out here and tell me kind of where they feel the ranking is. Because I think for me, the ranking is your numbers retired is number 1. That's the highest of accomplishments to me. Because if your number's retired, you're probably going to go, and we're talking schools, you'd go in the Hall of Fame. And then on to that, it would be, that your number's out of circulation. Because I think that's the beginning. They take it out of circulation, then your numbers, then you're a Hall of Famer, and then your number is retired. I think that's the way it should be across the board. Because most people will look at high school, college, and pro and go, okay, I'm in the Hall of Fame. There's nothing else that, I can do. There's no more ways that we can get this person to come back, whether it's for financial reasons or memorial reasons or whatever it may be. This is as far as we can go once we give them the plaque at the Hall of Fame and hang it forever. But somebody got smart and said, well, what if we take their number out of, or we retire their number, and then we hang their number up in the gym or the locker room or wherever it may be. You don't see too many of that in high school. You don't see too much of that. You see it in college a lot. But in a conversation I was having last night, I have a hard time understanding why high schools don't get some of the money that colleges do. Like, we were watching the news last night, and there's, multi-million-dollar library that's being built for a university or a college. Why is it that people take a little bit more pride in college than they do in their high school? And the answer that I got from my wife was because I think people feel that they made a choice to go to that college. And I think there's a lot of fruit in that statement. I think that high school, maybe not necessarily nowadays, high school, you're not really able to pick where you go. You just are there. That's where you are at that moment. That's where you go. That's the jersey you wear. That's the community you're in. You don't have a whole lot of choice in that matter. Maybe not as black and white as it was 20 years ago. But then you look at college and people choose to go to that university, that college. And that's where the endowments and the money comes back, and they want things named after them. I don't understand why we don't see more of that in high school. I loved where I went to school, to high school and college. I think that if money was, no object, I would be more apt to put money as an alum of my high school into a field or a facility or whatever. Derek Wolfe was at least in my mind, was the latest one to do that. And Jamin Pastor in Beaver Local. So Jamin and Derek decided that they're going to put this dollar amount into the football field and into the facility that they're building in Beaver Local. That is not the everyday thing. Typically, guys that are professional, they'll put it in colleges. That's why it was so exciting for the Beaver Local administration, why they're so grateful to have that opportunity. I'm not certain that why. I guess my wife probably hit it on the head when she said that people are probably a little bit more prideful and choosy. They feel a little bit more, clingy to the college. But I gotta say that I would probably go high school. Where would you go? Let's say you won that Mega Millions the other night, where would you put millions of dollars? Would it be in your high school, your college, your career? Would you put it back into where you work? I want to know from you where you would put that money and why. Would it be, and maybe you know this better than I do at home or wherever you are, why is there more pride taken in where you go to college than where you go to high school in most cases? I'm interested to know that on your side. And we did have a question of the day, by the way. Question of the day was, who will win a state championship in 2022-2023? Any sport, boys, girls, doesn't matter. We got a lot of comments on this one. We got a decent amount of comments on this one. Everybody chiming in on the 3 different social media platforms that we're able to swing it out on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter today. A lot of we got some Canfield football. We got some South Range football. We got South Range soccer. Trying to think who else we had. Brookfield had a vote in football. Anthony Hartwig said it best. Everybody's kind of in pocket right now. Everybody's thinking football and volleyball. People aren't thinking about baseball and softball necessarily anymore. That's old hat. I got to think that Fitch they've got a wild shot at this. This is probably going to be a big time opportunity for Coach Ward and the Fitch Falcons come spring to take a stab at the state title. I don't know if they'll be favorites, but I would imagine that they would be up there if there were odds. I'm gonna go with Fitch. I'm gonna go with Fitch softball as my pick for state champion. I think that's not the easiest road, not the one that it's not going to be the straightest path to a title, but they have the talent everywhere you look, and I feel like everybody's getting better. Everybody in that roster is getting a little bit better. I mean, you see Sid out in where, I don't know, Kansas, like she's all over the place, Colorado, and she's just getting better and better and better. And is anybody going to be able to hit her next year? That's the big question. And without getting too far down the path, that's why I think, I mean, the leadership from McKenna Hogan is going to be top notch. Then you have that lineup, Ayla Ray and company. You still have the big boppers. You know, you lose a Maddie Taylor, you lose some pieces to that puzzle from last year, but most of those pieces are still in place. And I think the seniors moving on to be freshmen somewhere else or moving on with their lives would be incredibly proud if in 2023 Austintown Fitch was able to bring home the old gold trophy, the big one, back to Austintown Fitch. That's who I'm going with. I think there's a lot of contenders, but I think that if I had to put my finger on one team that I was most confident in to make a run and win a championship based on, I don't know what's going to happen between now and then, I would go Fitch softball. So we'll see. A lot of pressure. No pressure, Coach Ward. No pressure at all. Don't worry about it. Just one of the best teams in the state. That's all. Okay, let's talk exhibition before we take a break here in a few minutes. The NFL kicks off tonight, unofficially, preseason. And you have the Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars, taking on the Raiders, Los Angeles, San Diego, Oakland, wherever the hell they're from. They're taking on the Raiders. Interesting side note to tonight's game that you'll probably hear a lot if and when you watch. And that's what we're going to get to. Josh McDaniels is a product of Canton McKinley. His dad, Tom, was the coach for the Bulldogs. Obviously, well within our YSN range and coverage area. And it's going to be the first time that Josh McDaniels steps on the sidelines as a head coach at at Tom Benson Stadium. Almost had a little faux pas that we had earlier this year. And Tom Benson Stadium's had been the site and the home of so many upgrades over the last 5-10 years. It's almost unrecognizable to those that are, those teams that won state back in the day. You know what I mean? Like those teams that you constantly go into the Canton area and playing in Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. It's almost unrecognizable. It's absolutely gorgeous. And to think that a high school football team plays on that every single Friday night is amazing. What a home to have for McKinley. And I know, and they have both Thurman Munson and Tom Benson Stadium. So their athletics are legit. Like you're playing at the creme de la creme in both places. And especially because they're cleaning up Thurman Munson Stadium, making all those improvements. Awesome. Good for Canton McKinley. Again, Canton McKinley. Ring a ding ding if you want some coverage here on YSN. But I digress. The topic here is exhibition, not just football, but in all sports, preseason. Do players actually need these games? Do they need exhibition games in order to go play games that count? In high school, we have football scrimmages, and you're only allowed a certain amount of time. I think it's 2 hours you're allowed for a scrimmage. Doesn't matter how many teams. You can have an 8-team scrimmage, but you only get 2 hours, and it counts for everybody, even if you're not on the field. At least that's my interpretation of the bylaw. So here we go. 440 and goal, boys. I'll be talking to them later. Definitely high school for Ryan. No T-Law for the Jags. Okay. And this is where I'm interested, because some of these high-profile players, they either don't play for 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 games in the preseason exhibition, or they play a minimal amount of snaps in football. They play a couple innings in baseball. Pitchers are on a pitch count in baseball. I mean, you look at that, there's a lot that goes into this, to the point where you start wondering, do we really need it? Is this just a gimmick? Is this just something that people and these franchises and kind of a matter of fact, it's a pomp and circumstance of why do we need exhibition? I like it. I'm a proponent for it. I think that it's always good to hit somebody with a different colored jersey on. It's always good to see pitching that's live, that somebody actually wants to strike you out, as opposed to, if you're down in Florida or in Arizona and you're wearing the same color uniform, if you get a hard base knock off of somebody, oh well. That's just Brian Reynolds. That's just Jose Ramirez. No, I want competition. I want someone to know that you didn't draft me, you didn't sign me. I'm going to stick it up your tailpipe. That's how this is going to go. Because what I'm assuming is these players are going 100%, because you've seen injuries sustained in the that happened in the preseason or exhibition side of things that linger into the regular season and even in the postseason. Some of these are season-long, season-ending injuries that happen. So it's not like these players are taking their foot off the pedal necessarily. The coaches don't really show their hand. You're not going to see a lot of plays that are real intricate tonight and the first few weeks, if at all. We talked about belly left, belly right with Letonia yesterday. Yeah, that's probably what you're about going to see. On a slippery night in Canton, Ohio, no T-Law for the Jags. It's a debut for a couple of the Raiders. You look at what they're building over there. They've got some weapons. But it's almost like, well, think about like this, professional wrestling. If you're watching and let's say you get a chance to go to WrestleMania, and one of the top wrestlers gets hurt 2 months before, that's your wrestler. That's your guy. John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, doesn't matter. If they're out for a significant time, maybe that devalues your ticket. Maybe that devalues your interest in going to the game. If Ben Roethlisberger's not playing, and he's not playing at all anymore, so if you're holding out hope for that, I hope you didn't hold your breath. But tonight with Derek Carr, if Derek Carr is not playing on one side, T-Law is not playing on the other, are you just going to just be in the atmosphere of football And that's okay if you are. I love that. I encourage that. But there's something to it when some of your stars aren't playing or in the lineup or even on the sidelines. You know, if they're in street clothes. It used to be that these guys played and they played a half. So you get to play. These exhibition games are opportunities because the ticket prices, as I understand, now everything inflation, right? The exhibition games are a little bit lower priced. So there's more families like ours that can go to these games and get a taste of what it's like in a regular season atmosphere. It's still not the same. I've been to Hall of Fame games. I've been to exhibition games. It's not the same. You're not foaming from the mouth fan. You're kind of laid back. It's like vacation fan, right? You're taking it in, you're watching it happen, but you're not fully engaged. I'm interested to know from you, are exhibition games, are preseason games detrimental to the regular season, to the postseason? Or are they perfect? Are they required? Should they be required? Because it's a warm-up. It's a taste. You know, it's a getting things back together. You know, it's interesting whenever you think about training camps and training camps happen year-round now for some reason. It's wild to me that these training camps you got rookie camps and veteran camps and training camps and non-hitting camps and voluntary camps. And like, we know that these football players that are playing professionally are not just going to go home and kick up their feet for 4 months and say, you know what, I'm going to give it 3 months and then I'm going to give it a go to get back in shape. Like, these guys are training around the clock. They're professional athletes. Their bodies, for the most part, are temples. You know, even these big monsters, defensive linemen and offensive linemen, they're built like that. That's why when you see an offensive lineman retire, he immediately goes from 360 to 210. In normal human beings that you wouldn't even recognize if you bumped into him at Giant Eagle. I want somebody to tell me that we need regular season games. I want to hear that there's more people like me out there, because all I'm hearing is we don't need them. All I'm hearing is, you know what? Exhibitions, the preseason. We don't need that. That's junk. Doesn't count. Doesn't do anything for us. Doesn't get the motor going. The only thing we do at exhibition season games is drink, and they don't lower the price of beer for that. They don't lower the price of nachos. That's what you get. The ticket prices might go down. Might deflate that one a little bit. But you're still paying $7.75 for a beverage. You're still paying, $13 for a hot dog or nachos or whatever it may be. It's crazy. Because the concessions aren't going to lose money. No way. No way. Not a chance. I'm interested to know from you. Should or will or do the regular I keep saying regular season, the preseason, the exhibition season, does it matter? Do we need it? Should we need it? Should we have it? I want to hear from you. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about this a little more. We're going to talk trading cards. Get your trading cards out. Let's talk. Get those Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards out. That's what was big in my day. I want to see how you feel about the trading card boom coming back. We'll try to get somebody on the line here in just a moment here on the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by these great sponsors.
It's a new year at Acura of Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi with huge savings on over 350 fully inspected vehicles. We have cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, and work vehicles. We don't have it, our team will find it. We aim for 100% credit approval with payments as low as $99 per month. And as always, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. For a great vehicle and a great experience, come see why everyone is stopping by at Acura Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting, where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
You know, being able to have success on the football field and the basketball court and just every aspect of, my sports career is now documented. One of the greatest things about high school sports is to be able to talk about it for the rest of your life and to look back on the days with my buddies whenever we had some battles, whether it was with our rival or just another game, and I could go back and look at it and not only myself but my family members, my teammates, and it's something that will last a lifetime. My name is Parker Sherry, and my sports network is your sports network.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
But now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What's going on, sports fans? Welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Oakley with you. 440 and Goal says Panini is making money hand over fist. This is an interesting one because my guy, and he's texting me right now, Chuck, Midwest Sports Cards, I think is the name of the company that he's with. He's out there killing it. He's doing great promos for this company. He's a guy you've heard on YSN. If you were at our All-Star game for basketball, he was our announcer, a guy that's near and dear to my heart. He's got so much going for him, and we're going to have – couldn't make it. He's in the car right now, so we're going to make sure that he's safe. We got to make sure it would take care of our Chuck, number one. Make sure he's safe. So we will have him either at a future date, or we'll get him on the horn here for maybe tomorrow's show. I know we'll have Shane Lindstrom in a pre-recorded interview tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you're a football fan, we're doing our football, volleyball, soccer interviews, our player profiles, our coaches' corners. And unfortunately, we did have one fall through for us today. So that's why you hear me babbling about this. But I think they're good topics. I think that there's some legit topics here. Ryan and Sammy saying that, the Panini boys are killing it. And I don't know. I'm not up on this. I have to learn. I have so much to learn because I've been out of the game for a long time in sports trading cards. And if you're out there and you're listening, and when I bring up baseball cards, basketball, whatever it is, trading cards in general, and it doesn't just give you some of the warm and fuzzies like back in the day, I just remember, and everybody's got their own stories, right? I remember being in upstate New York where my grandma lived, and I was wheeling and dealing baseball cards because that's what you did. You went, that's how you started your day. You went, you got a pack of baseball cards. I wasn't old enough to have the bubble gum in them, right? So you get a pack of baseball cards from the local convenience store, get a soda, get a pop, whatever it is. Then you roll back, and then you guys start trading. You start wheeling and dealing. And, you might get 3 cards back for a really good one. But you were more invested at that time in your favorite players, your favorite teams. Not necessarily, you didn't care about what the card was worth. People would bend the crap out of those corners. Mint condition did not exist with a 10, 11, 12-year-old who loved baseball cards. You were not getting a mint condition card. Those things got beat up. I saw friends put baseball cards in their spokes of their wheels for their bike, their tires. I never did that. I never understood the logic behind that. I knew you didn't bend them, but when you're sitting there and you're just one across from the other, and you're getting that Donruss, that Tops, I'm trying to remember what it starts with an S. I can't remember it. But anyway, you get those cards back. Dude, trading cards were it. People traded cards in my generation, and I'm sure in generations before me, because I was the tail end. I'm almost 40, got a few years, but I was at that generation where, you're buying baseball cards. I know Sigler was a big baseball card guy. We talk about it a lot. You get that one guy, you get your favorite player, and you hold on to that thing, and it is your prized possession in life. And sometimes you get one of those clear protectors, and that guy goes in there, and you take it it's your rite of passage. He doesn't travel with the other baseball cards, or he travels in the front, or he travels in the back. You're guarding him like you guard your king in chess. Select. That's what it was. Thank you, boys. Yes, select. I had some good. And then on top of that, there was always the shyster in the group that took the Sports Illustrated for kid cards and tried to get those in the mix. I remember he was the youngest of the group. And this guy, they're the perforated edge ones where you those aren't real cards. Don't bring that. That's not good. Those are illegitimate cards that you're trying to pass off as the mighty Donruss. The Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. You can give me 30,000 of those perforated edge crap Sports Illustrated for kids ones. You're not getting my Ken Griffey Jr. It's not going to happen. Never going to happen. Trading cards are back, and I can't wait to talk to Chuck about it. I have to check it out. I think it's Midwest sports cards. You have to. He does such a good job, and Chuck is Midwest Cards. Check them out on Facebook. 15,000 people like their Facebook page. So shouldn't be hard to find. Midwest Cards. Check them out. It's unbelievable. Like the price on these, and you hear about, and I'm not up on some of this other stuff. Like crypto, I can hold my own in a conversation. NFTs, I'm clueless about this stuff. Like there's so many things that are the new baseball cards of this generation. They're talking about the metaverse and stuff like that nowadays, and you buying, which I don't understand why it's such a big deal, because we buy games online now, right? And you buy power-ups for your games, and you can buy packs on your games, which Madden, by the way, is a huge proponent of why I think trading cards are back. They put it back in. So did MLB The Show. It's back in the saddle, and I think people are, being able to get that feel, that actual, like that rip of the cellophane paper, whatever it's called, the smell of the cards. Like there's a smell to it, no matter if it had the bubble gum in it or not. There's a smell to that cardboard, that card, and it's an experience. It's an experience, I think, that our generation, my generation, doesn't. I'd love to go back to it. Like, it was one of those things where when you weren't playing sports in your backyard and the bicycles were all piled up in the front yard, you were throwing cards. You were trading cards. You were saying, okay, my third baseman's better than your third baseman, but you got a better pitcher than I do, so let's swap. What do we got here? It was the art of negotiation. It was the art of the deal. It was everybody. You had to know about baseball or football or that sport, because you didn't want to get bamboozled. You didn't want somebody sliding in and taking your Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card for some, and I'm looking at you because I know you're probably watching right now, perforated edge, Sports Illustrated for kid cards. What the hell is wrong with you? He's still trying to get away with those shenanigans this day. Guaranteed. Brendan Shea. I know you. I know you're watching somewhere. I know you're watching from upstate New York. Don't even know if you still live there. But the end of it is sports cards are back. And I think that, it's a cool thing whenever your kids are getting into things that you were into when you were younger. I think that's kind of the dream. That some of us hold on to things for way too long, hoping that our kids will get into the same stuff that we got into, and there's value to them. But our kids, let's face it, most of our kids or kids in general look at our old stuff and go, what is this? What is this hot garbage you're trying to shovel towards me right now? Because everybody's guilty of it. They got the old banged up, like, dugout box cards, and you either sorted them by serial number or whatever, or you sorted them by team. I sorted them by team. Like, I wanted all my Pirates together, all the Indians, all the Padres, all the Giants. Like, you should see how many cards I had. And I no longer have them. When the house went up for sale for my mom, the cards went away. They went with them. Couldn't find them. So somebody's probably a billionaire because of all the cards I had. Probably not. You could sell all of those and you probably wouldn't be able to get a lunch at Doyle's. It's a hit or miss. Sports cards are hit or miss, and they're a hit right now. And I'm interested. Are you looking to invest in sports cards? Are you one of those collectors out there? And if you collect them, do you still put them in those binders with the individualized slots? Or how do you take care of your cards nowadays? Most of these cats are just putting them right back on eBay, trying to make a buck. It's a business now. I've seen kids that are 10 years old and younger with YouTube pages locally. C-Dub, shout out. But they've got their own card breaks and things like that they're promoting basically they're entrepreneurs at the ripe old age of 9 or 10 years old. That makes my heart happy. That gets me excited. I just wonder, will they be able to cash in on the card boom before it pops? Because I remember how many people in my immediate circle were stuck with all these baseball cards, holding on to them. It's the equivalent of girls and Beanie Babies. Like, my grandmother bought my sister Beanie Babies, and like the entire family bought in. Like, that was what my sister got for years, thinking that she was going to be able to trade in these Beanie Babies for like a college education someday. But I was the jackass that had sports cards, and people looked at me upside down. It's all in the value of it. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. These things, these trends, they come and go, they come back. Bell bottoms will be back. I saw a kid with a bowl cut. It's coming back. Mullets were here. They're still here. I don't understand that one. I thought bowl cuts were cool back in the day in 7th grade. They're coming back. I saw one kid with a bowl cut. You know what happens? It's like coronavirus. It turns into everywhere. Everybody's going to have bowl cuts again. It's coming back. Get ready for highlighted hair and parted right down the middle. Get ready for that. Boy bands will make their way back. Did they ever go away, though? Did they ever go away? I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I can't wait. Oh, here we go. Scott says, Bonds, McGuire, Sosa rookies. They thought he could retire on steroids equals pennies. Like, even with Griffey, that rookie card was worth so much. And then it just dead. Stock market. That's what it is. It was, the card market is like the stock market. It's just like everything else. The Beanie Baby market, my sister, I don't even know if she made it to 18 before she was like, I'm giving up on this. This is a no-win situation. People think I like Beanie Babies. Like, they were all over. I'll never forget, and if you run into her, you can't tell her I told you this. When she started popping tags off Beanie Babies, was like one of the worst days of her life, because she's playing with them just like we play with cards, right? You have the corner, it's busted up on the edge. Always. You always knew DJ Yoakley's cards because they were busted up on the edges. Mint doesn't work in my house. I was there for the stories and for the glory. I wasn't there to make money. My teams that I put down were beating your teams. I wasn't there to cash in and protect it with my binder and put them into each slot specifically and carefully according to their batting average. Come on, man. No. I got Tony Gwynn. I got Cal Ripken, Frank Thomas, Albert Bell. Listen, I traded like an arm and a leg and a peanut butter sandwich for Albert Bell because that was my guy. Never got Bonds, though, but I had my Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. When Grandma sent me down with $5 to get my cards, that day I pulled that Ken Griffey card. Best day of my life outside of meeting my children and marrying my wife. Lock it down. Lock it down. I was the king of the neighborhood. Probably still would be. If I went back and we had a reunion and I had that Ken Griffey Jr., everybody remembers me having that junior card because they tried to get, like, a kid offered me a bicycle for that Ken Griffey Jr. card. Looking back, I probably should have taken it. But, man, that Ken Griffey Jr. card was my world. Like, it was, you found it, you got a Beckett. They said it was worth $1 gazillion and hold on to it. Put it away. Locked it up. Life happened. My $1 billion ticket up and gone. See ya. Somebody has that right now. Probably not. They probably just threw them away like they did with every. I'll have to go and look and see how much that actual rookie card is worth. Or the I know the one, it's yellow on the outside. And it's got Ken Griffey Jr. with the Seattle Mariners hat on it. I'll be able to tell you. I'll tell you tomorrow. That's what we'll do. But right now, we have to put a bow on the show and get you to the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. Anything commercial, residential, anything electrical. Go over to North Lima on their campus. Knock on that door. Ask for Eric Carlson. Tell him YSN sent you. And tell him what you need. Eric Carlson's a great man. And he's got a great team over there at Joe Dickey Electric ready to serve you and get you all ready so there's no sparks for you when it comes time to having your electricity. All that, again, over, you can visit them at DickeyElectric.com. Roll it. All right, here we go. This is a shout out to my boy. Guy that his picture still hangs here, and you can kind of see it right there. Actually, there he is. Still hangs here at YSN. Logan Bell, the Lisbon alum, turned Akron, turned Bowling Green pitcher. My guy just got back into rehab after what could have been devastating arm injury. And we've had him on the show before. We've had him on YSN numerous times. And obviously you're well acquainted with him, as am I. One of my favorite people in this world. His family, again, top notch, the best people you'll ever meet. And no, Logan, I wouldn't give you my Ken Griffey Jr. card either. Just so we're on the same page. But he gets back into rehab, and Logan is throwing, and he's excited, and I'm excited for him. When you know how much something means to somebody, especially as a person who loves sports, to have basically your career being questioned, your dreams being questioned, it's a tough route. It's a tough road to hoe. And Logan's been through a lot of adversity in the last few years, and he just keeps out coming, smelling like a rose. Dude is just nose to the grindstone, puts his best foot forward always, and I'm super proud of him to be able to get over all that and to be able to get back and toss the baseball. And I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that he continues to strengthen up, get back where he was, and maybe even a little bit stronger. Kid's got the determination of an absolute horse. He's going to finish what he starts, and can't wait to see what he ends up doing from a standpoint of baseball and the rest of life. Logan, we're so proud of you, excited for you. We love you. Keep at it. You, my friend, are as positive of a spark as they come. So keep getting at it, and we will keep rooting for you back here in the 330 and the 440. That's going to do it for our show. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, tomorrow, Shane Lindstrom, the receiver for South Range, is scheduled to join us. We'll have that. We'll try to get my dude Chuck and talk about some sports cards because he knows better than I know, and by a long shot. And he also has a very special thing that he's been doing for the last week that I'd love for him to touch on. We'll have all that, hopefully, and more tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on the YSN Power Hour. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you tomorrow. Stay safe and take care of each other. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation